I'm Jacqueline Gist. I'm one of the career counselors here at University Career Services. I'm here with my colleague Tim Stiles today, and we've been thinking a lot about phone interviews lately. It seems like more and more employers are requesting phone interviews from students. Tim, why do you think that is, and what are they looking for in a phone interview?
Well, Jackie, I think that we've seen a market increase in phone interviews, particularly with the downturn in the economy. Most employers are trying to find a really cost-effective way to reach a lot of candidates for their hiring, but also be able to make better decisions before they invite students on site, which is very costly.
I think too sometimes I'm seeing that some of my students who are applying to internships may only do a phone interview without a face-to-face interview. And since we have more and more students these days studying abroad, some students may not be in the vicinity, and yet an employer still is interested in them, and so they'll do a phone interview. So in addition to the first screening traditional phone interview, we're finding more and more employers have other reasons to do them. A phone interview covers much of the same things that a face-to-face interview does, including conducting research into who the employer is, being able to articulate how your skills match the job. But there are some differences. And what do you think some of the differences are?
Yeah, the differences primarily that you have to remember you're on a phone and not face-to-face. That being said, students need to be cognizant that as good as their cell phone service is, if there's any possibility that they could be, have, spotty connections or reception, it's better to use a landline, and we do offer those at UCS. We also suggest to students that they feel that to put themselves in interview mode, that they actually dress up for the interview, and we find that to be true when students do mock interviews with us in person, that if they dress up, it's usually a higher performance and higher standard.
Exactly. I tell my students that if they're wearing their jammies, they're going to sound like they're wearing their jammies. So dress up a little bit, get your roommates to be quiet, turn off the music, put the dog outside, make sure there aren't any distractions, dress up, have all of your materials in front of you so that you know what the employer is referring to, and smile. Whether or not you're smiling comes across over the phone. It's a little game you can play ahead of time. Ask your friends to tell you whether or not you're smiling when you're talking. You'll be surprised how often they can guess. Also, thank you letters are just as important with phone interviews as they are with a face-to-face interview. So at the beginning of the conversation, I always advise students to make sure that they get the correct spelling of the interviewer's name and their email address so that as soon as it's over, they can send a thank you letter.
Well, thanks, Jackie. This is Jackie and Tim inviting you to come by UCS and see us about phone interviews. We're happy to practice with you. We'll even turn our chairs around so that you can't see who you're talking to.
Thank you. Come see us.